This Daily Tech podcast is proof that technology works best when it brings people together. And each day we have a guest and myself sharing our experiences, and then I invite you to join the conversation listening all over the world, and for you to do the same and share your insights and your experiences. And this is one of many reasons why I'm excited to get today's guest on, which is Sam Chowdhury, and he's the co-founder and CEO at ClassDojo, and get him onto the podcast today because ClassDojo's vision is to help every child on earth get the education that they love. And they think that the way to change education is not from the top down, but from the ground up, by serving teachers, children and families and making education happen every day. And this is the bit that I really love. ClassDojo started as a communication app to help them come together as a community, and is beginning to help them get the educational experiences that they need for their children. But enough from me. This is a great story and you're going to love this one. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to San Francisco so we can speak with Sam Chowdhury, co-founder and CEO of ClassDojo. So massive warm welcome to the show, Sam. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are
thank you.
And what you do?
Yep. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ClassDojo. We think of it as a consumer education company. My co-founder Liam and I are both British. We moved to California a little over 7 years ago to start ClassDojo. And we both had backgrounds in education. So I went to this funky school in my teens, which encouraged us to teach as well as learn. So I ended up teaching for like 20 hours a week through my teens, which was kind of a wild experience. And then ended up teaching after college, worked at McKinsey in their education group in London. And my co-founder Liam had done a bunch of stuff, and most recently had been doing a PhD in computer science focused on technology in classrooms. And we met, and we kind of wanted to do more in education. So we ended up coming out to California. We had a few investors who wanted to back us, and ClassDojo kind of emerged from then. And today, ClassDojo is a communication app that connects teachers and children and families, and it helps them share more often and more positively about what's happening at school and at home. So you think kind of photos and videos, messages, little bits of positive feedback, and that really helps to build a close-knit community around the classroom. Education kind of is an experience that's created by people working together, and so helping the people on the ground doing the work together better is a really important goal for us. It's kind of that foundation of community now has been built in classrooms and homes all around the world, actually. It's in about 180 countries. We serve tens of millions of kids. And that's been really exciting. We think that the real opportunity for us, and then the vision for me for ClassDojo is really to help every child on earth get an education that they love.
I loved how you mentioned a few moments ago that when you was at school, they taught you how to teach as well as learn. How old were you then? 'Cause it sounds like a fantastic angle.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I was from age 13 to the end of school, actually.
Yeah.
So the backstory is I previously, when I was a bit younger, I'd gone to a very small school. This was in Wales, and there was only about 80 kids or something in it. And then when I was a bit older, this next school that encouraged us to teach was about 3,000 kids. And so really, there's a real danger that kids just kind of get lost. Yeah. They ended up having this amazing system where they really they encourage you to come in at lunchtimes or after school, or take over some of the core kind of curriculum classes. And so we taught small groups and big groups and our own grade level and younger grade levels, and it was a pretty cool experience.
I've recently read that Glossier once told Fortune that 70% of sales come from word of mouth and organic connections. So while Glossier is shaping the future of beauty by leveraging influencers, what quickly struck me is ClassDojo is doing exactly the same in education by leveraging teachers and families. And it's the world's most widely used communication app for pre-K-8 schools. But can you offer an overview for listeners that are just tuning in and hearing about ClassDojo for the first time, exactly what it is and what you're doing differently from all the other solutions out there?
Yeah, no, it's a good one, especially if you don't use it or you don't know about it. So, first, I think most people agree that education is one of the most important problems that we could solve. Because if we solved it, we'd solve most of all the future problems we face in the future. And we believe that too. But I think we kind of started with a different point of view to most. to most education companies. And like kind of our point of view is that, you know, education isn't really a product that you can build and ship to classrooms. It's not like an iPhone or like a test version or something. It's more important that we think of it as an experience that gets created every day by like people in millions of classrooms and homes, like all over the country, all over the world. And so if you want to improve it, our view is that like you really need to start like bottom up, like, you know, you need to focus on changing things from the ground up, not from the top down. And so we kind of started by talking to teachers and children and families and just kind of asking them like what would help improve their experience of education. And out of that, what emerged was this idea that, well, we all need to work together well. We need to work together as a community. And so ClassDojo started as initially just for connecting teachers and students and helping them share positive feedback with each other about like skills and values and things they're doing in the classroom. That then expanded to include teachers, children, and families. And so it became, you can think of it as a communication app where these three groups are able to share, like just amongst themselves, like moments from the classroom, moments from home, messages, like pictures or videos. So it's kind of all the, you know, I've always been a little bit odd that like kids go away to school for 8 hours a day, then they spend like 8 hours a day at home, and like the two sides just never really talk to each other. And yet it takes kind of a whole village to help people grow up really well, right? And so like having everyone who cares about a kid on the same page and connected to each other in this like little small group is kind of what ClassDojo does today.
Now, ClassDojo's growth has been 100% organic, fueled entirely by word of mouth, from just a handful of teachers in 2011 to 3.5 million users in 2012 to tens of millions of users in 180 countries today. Now, these figures are staggering, especially when you consider that you've not spent a dollar on advertising or marketing, especially in a digital world of Facebook advertising and things. So can you tell me a little bit more about that journey?
Yeah, man, it's been a journey. Like, I think Liam and I moved out here to California, and we'd never lived in the US before. Yeah. And we'd never worked in the US education system. Like, we didn't know that much about it beyond like what we'd read. And so we kind of did what seemed like just a sensible, kind of common sense thing at the time, where like we ended up interviewing like a few hundred teachers. And so this was us like cold calling and emailing and just asking like, and we were asking this weird question about like, well, how can we help? Like, what would help you make like a better experience in the classroom, or what would help you, you know, teach better or help your kids learn better? And we just kind of listened, right? And we heard things like, well, I want my classroom to be more positive. I want to connect with like the kids and the families in a more positive way. And then we went away for like a few weeks, and we came back with like, you know, it was a dinky little product early on. I mean, as all early products are, we're like embarrassed about it and all that, but it was a little bit useful, right? And we just gave it to teachers, and we said, hey, remember that problem you asked about? We've tried to solve it. And back then it was just connecting teachers and students, and we were helping them share kind of positive feedback. And but this was kind of a crazy situation for teachers, right? Where they actually had, I think for some of them for the first time, they had people who'd like listened to them and then gone away and tried to solve one of their problems, then come back. It was almost like this like white glove kind of service. And so I think like the first group of teachers we spoke with were just like delighted. And they used ClassDojo to give us a bunch of feedback on it. Like they made it better. They were so excited that it was getting better and that they spread it. And so in our first week, we had like 80 teachers using it. In our fifth week, we had like about 12,000 teachers using it. In our 10th week, we had something like 30,000 or so, which is getting to about 1% of all teachers in America. And like, you know, it was kind of cool and amazing, and honestly a surprise for us to see just like the pent up passion for the teachers had there. Where like, you know, it kind of confirmed to me that like, well, like, teachers really do want to things to change and improve, and they want to do the right things for their kids. And so like, this shouldn't have been the revolutionary approach, like to talk to and understand them and empower them, but it turned out to be.